Hi, there it says, I am live. Hello, how are you? I'm wondering if my dad is going to be out there today. Dad, where are you? He's such a faithful listener. Is that you, Dad? Looking for my dad. Anyway, I'm going to start. So let me introduce myself. I'm Kristen. I'm the director of the Island Free Library on Block Island. This is a daily, there's my dad. Hi, Dad, where you been? This is a daily short story program for adult listeners. It started in March of 20, what is that? That's 2020. That was 2020, that March. That last March we had was 2020. It started then when Block Island went into a shelter-in-place mandate. It was a way for us to begin staying connected to our patrons in this virtual hemisphere. Can I say that? Virtual hemisphere? Sounds kind of funky, but that's what I'm going to say. And it continues to be that today. As you know, I think we're going to do this all winter. Everybody, settle in, get used to our virtual programming. I was on the statewide meeting this morning, and all programming is to be virtual for the next, for a time period. And so that was my kid walking through the room. Should I move, James? Do you need to work in there?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're going to continue to be virtual. That's what's going to happen at all Rhode Island libraries, most libraries in the country, I assume, for the, for an uncertain amount of time. But this is what we're doing. We have lots of great programming that you can attend virtually. This one happens every day at 3:00, except, when it's November 8th, yesterday, and I'm swimming. I was swimming. I swam twice yesterday. I went in, full in, under the water, full in. So nope, didn't make my program yesterday. It was a day off, and I took it, and I recharged and went swimming. Today is also a swimming day, but here I am. I'm here with you today, going to read you a short story. So we have lots of other offerings of short stories. We have kid and toddler programs happening. We have really great programming happening with our senior advisory committee, this dual partnership, this partnership there we have with both of those organizations has been happening. There is a book group through that. There is a found poetics workshop through that. There's a memoir project through that. And this week we launch a program called In Our Kitchens, a cooking program we're going to launch. That's Wednesdays at 4:00 through a Zoom program. So ask us for a Zoom link. And that's on top of the programming that Miss Morgan does with kids and teens. And we have a couple of other, we're going to launch 2 other monthly programs. We're going to launch a show and tell to stay connected to our knitters. So, that'll meet monthly. They usually meet weekly, but we're going to try to meet with them monthly for them to show us what they've been knitting and working on, or crocheting and working on, or whatever your craft is. So that's happening. Dad, that might be fun for Maddie. She might enjoy that, the show and tell program. She might like that. She also might like In Our Kitchens. Boy, is that program going to be good. Wow. I did a little... I've done 2 meetings to launch that program, and my meeting last week was about who the guest is this week and the guest next week. Those were the 2 women I met with, and those are going to be great programs. That's going to be really, really fun stuff. So we're going to launch the show and tell one, and we're also going to launch our cookbook club. That usually happens in person, as do all our programs, but we're also gonna launch a reinvention of our cookbook club. So anyway, I'm babbling on here when you came to hear a story, but I want you to know, this is what we're doing. We're not changing this. Our library building opened. We're not sure how long it'll stay open. It seems like Rhode Island is struggling with numbers and cases. We know Block Island is struggling with numbers and cases. We know Block Island, if you're listening, really, Nice. Keep it safe and tight this week. 2 weeks of really tighten it up, tighten our ship, masks, wash your hands, don't go out, don't see people, really try to keep it tight. I shouldn't say don't go out, right? I mean, we have restaurants that are trying to make it and, support them as best you can. But, it's a little precarious right now on Block Island. So keep that in mind. All right. We could talk about COVID and its implications and who's doing what forever. But I like to keep it positive on this show. I like to connect in with you and see how you're doing. And I like that I read you a story every day. So let me get to a story. So this story comes from this lovely book that someone lent me. It feels quite new. It feels very new and lovely. And my friend who lent me this said, well, yeah, I bought it at your book sale. Maybe I should have snagged this one out of the book sale, huh? Missed that. But let's see. So it is Licks of Love, short stories, and a sequel, Rabbit Remembered. And these stories are by John Updike. Licks of Love. It's a great title. And this particular book, Licks of Love, short stories and a sequel, published by Knopf in 2000 out of New York. Now I'm going to read something called Oliver's Evolution. Frankenstein Tea, Monday, November 9th, 2020. John Updike, short story, Oliver's Evolution. His parents had not meant to abuse him. They had meant to love him and did love him. But Oliver had come late in their little pack of offspring, at a time when the challenge of child rearing was wearing thin, and he proved susceptible to mishaps. A big fetus, cramped in his mother's womb, he was born with inturned feet and learned to crawl with corrective casts up to his ankles. When they were at last removed, he cried in terror because he thought those heavy plaster boots scraping and bumping along the floor had been part of himself. One day in his infancy, they found him on their dressing room floor with a box of mothballs, some of which were wet with saliva. In retrospect, they wondered if there had really been a need to rush him to the hospital and have his poor little stomach pumped. His face was gray-green afterwards. The following summer, when he had learned to walk, his parents had unthinkingly swum away off the beach together, striving for romantic harmony the morning after a late party and an alcoholic quarrel, and were quite unaware, until they saw the lifeguard racing along the beach, that Oliver had toddled after them and had been floating on his face for what might have been, given a less alert lifeguard, a fatal couple of minutes. This time, his face was blue, and he coughed for hours. He was the least complaining of their children. He did not blame his parents when neither they nor the school authorities detected his sleepy right eye in time for therapy, with the result that when he closed that eye, everything looked intractably fuzzy. Just the sight of the boy holding a school book at a curious angle to the light made his father want to weep impotently. And it happened that he was just the wrong, vulnerable age when his parents went through their separation and divorce. His older brothers were off in boarding school and college, embarked on manhood, free of family. His younger sister was small enough to find the new arrangements, the meals in restaurants with her father, the friendly men who appeared to take her mother out, exciting. But Oliver, at 13, felt the weight of the household descend on him He made his mother's sense of abandonment his own. Again, his father impotently grieved. It was he, and not the boy, who was at fault, really, when the bad grades began to come in from day school and then from college, and Oliver broke his arm falling down the frat stairs, or leaping, by another account of the confused incident, from a girl's dormitory window. Not one, but several family automobiles met a ruinous end with him at the wheel, though with no more injury, as it happened, than contused knees and loosened front teeth. The teeth grew firm again, thank God, for his innocent smile, slowly spreading across his face as the full humor of his newest misadventure dawned, was one of his best features. His teeth were small and round and widely spaced, baby teeth. Then he married, which seemed yet another mishap to go with the late nights, abandoned jobs, and fallen through opportunities of his life as a young adult. The girl, Alicia, was as accident prone as he, given to substance abuse and unwanted pregnancies. Her emotional disturbances left herself and others bruised. By comparison, Oliver was solid and sure-footed, and she looked up to him. This was the key. What we expect of others, they endeavor to provide. He held on to a job, and she held on to her pregnancies. You should see him now with their 2 children, a fair little girl and a dark-haired boy. Oliver has grown broad and holds the 2 of them at once. They are birds in a nest. He is a tree, a sheltering boulder. He is a protector of the weak. That's from Licks of Love by John Updike. That particular short story is Oliver's Evolution. And I don't usually do this, but it strikes me as though maybe I'll read this to you again, these last lines. The last word is weak, W-E-A-K, as opposed to week, W-E-E-K, the week, Monday through Friday. This is weak, opposite of strong. Oliver has grown broad and holds the 2 of them at once. They are birds in a nest. He is a tree. He is a tree, a sheltering boulder. He is a protector of the weak. Just to make sure you didn't think he is a protector of the weak, as if, he was nominated something for just that one week. All right, John Updike. We'll return to him. I think, when I was allowed to borrow this book from a friend, it struck me that I hadn't read much John Updike, and I haven't, but I did read one, and it was great. Do you remember what it was? It was that the one about the male, the young boy, the male cashier. I think it was even an A&P or a Grand Union. I think it was the A&P, because I worked at an A&P, and I remember relating to that story so much. So I believe that was a John Updike story that we read about the cashier there, and the girls that come in their bikinis, right? And the manager yells at the girls in their bikinis, and then the main character there walks out. Right? Yeah. Dad. Right? Yeah, that was a good one. Anyway, so that was John Updike again, with Oliver's Evolution. All right. Enjoy this afternoon. Enjoy this weather. I think I just registered for something at 3 tomorrow. I think I'm taking this workshop on how to be I think it's called the accidental facilities manager. Boy, did I need that. This morning, I was at the library with the plumber, waiting on the elevator crew, the elevator repair to be done, the plumber fixing 2 toilets, and of course, we're under construction. So I registered for that workshop. It could be 2 to 3. I'm not sure what it is. If it's at 3, I'll record something and see you live the following day. If not, I'll see you soon. And, look for our upcoming program virtually. We got some good stuff happening, and we're going to stay connected to you all as best we can. All right, mask up. I don't have a mask because I'm in my own home, but I don't have one to demonstrate. But mask up, wash your hands, eat your vegetables, get some sleep, get some fresh air, open your windows, crack the door, get some air circulating in your homes. And Dad, I'm glad you're home safe, and I'm glad you're back and reading with us. And I'll see everybody soon. All right. Love ya. Peace.